Hello students, and welcome to uh, the Module 2 discussion, the Module 2 video that I want to do for you. Just wanted to go over some things and try to help you to understand what needs to be done this week and kind of get you started with the homework a little bit, since Module 2 is really the first module where we have any significant type of assignments to send in. First thing first, let's look at the list of assignments we have. So if you go to the Start Here area, or if you go to Modules and Start Here, I like going to Modules and instead of the other way where you click the Start Here button, because then you can see kind of everything in a line. And then I'm going to Assignment Summary. So looking at our Assignment Summary for Module 2, you have the Riley practice set, which is not due until Sunday. You were given this information in Module 1, even though it wasn't due until Module 2 because of the time factor. It will take you more time to do the practice set than anything else. So you should have already started it. If you need assistance, I have some videos already created, like additional information in the announcements just pertaining to the Riley practice sets. So I'm going to let you look at those as a separate video. You have your engagement, which is due each week, and now the engagement expectations are in the discussion board area. So make sure you're clear on those, because they're worth 15 points, and those are going to be each week, so those add up to be a significant part of your grade. Most of the time today I want to spend on the first assignment, just because it's the first time we have some homework that's a lot of calculations and a lot of counting work. So let's go ahead and look at that area of the course where we can find it and the tools that we have. Okay, in Module 2, you can see all the different components of Module 2. Let's look at the Assignment 2. Okay, first off, I want to just kind of point out that there's a template that you need to use for doing the assignment. So it should be available to you here for you to download and do the work. Also, when you're finished with that template, you can submit it here. And let's go ahead and look at that template. The very first part of the template, which hold on, let me see if I can make this screen a little bit easier to read. Okay, there you go. You can see the bottom tab is grade, and this is just gives you an idea of the points that I'm going to assign to each of the assignments that you have. That allows you to, if you run out of time, or if you don't have a lot of time to do your work, you want to pick and choose which assignments you're going to focus on the most. You can see which ones I've given the most points to, and it helps you to do that. I give the most points to the assignments that are either the most significantly important or the ones that are the longest. You can see 312 is definitely kind of both of those. If you go to 312 or 32, you see that you have the journal entries which are due for this. So I've set up the journal entries for you, and I also have I kind of left in the discussions here, so I want you to see that. These journal entries are debit and credit. You always do your debit first, then the credit. You can have a little offset here, and then you have your debit and credit for the amounts. You can keep this the same, or you can add to it, or you can put the calculations there. If calculations were done by you, you need to put them somewhere. You can either put them along the side here, in the description, anything like that, to just kind of just explain what's going on. We're going to use templates for this class because for a lot of the homework assignments, not every one of them, but for a lot of them, because it's going to help us to not only help me to give you information on how to set the problems up and kind of give you some check figures, but also helps to give you feedback because you'll be able to see, an easy comparison of what was correct versus what was incorrect, and you can see where you were off. And also gets much faster feedback to you. So problem 3-2 is journal entries. 3-12 is an entire I think I even left one in there for you as a freebie. But 3-12 is an entire accounting cycle. So the first part are your journal entries. Then you take the journal entries and you post them over to your ledger. Take the ledger and you post it over to your trial balance. I left the trial balance intact for you, and that's going to give you some more check figures in addition to the ones at the bottom here. A word on check figures. Don't think of check figures as the most important thing. What I'm looking for is that you understand the process. Oftentimes you're off on a check figure and a student thinks they're going to fail the problem or whatever. That's not the case at all. It could be that you made a small error that could be $10,000, but you've only made one error and you've done all the process correctly. And if that's the case, then it's not going to be much of a deduction at all. So just think of the check figures more as kind of hints and guides to kind of make you feel kind of nice about the problem, but not necessarily something for you to think that if you don't get the check figure, you're going to get the problem wrong. I definitely focus on the process, and I've been going through that. For example, in this problem, the process is the accounting cycle. Journal entries get posted to ledgers, which get transferred to the trial balance. Then you have your adjusting entries. You have your adjusting entries here, and you have your adjusting entries in part 5 as journal entries. When you do adjusting entries, let's say you have just made up adjusting entry. Make sure you tie them in with, letters to show how the journal entries are tied together. This is very important in accounting worksheets to help other accountants that would be reading your work to know where the information, how the journal entries tie together. Sometimes you might have a journal entry that's, a multi-part journal entry, and so then it really becomes important because the debits and credits have to equal. And so if you have these letters, it really helps. And then you go to part 4, and I even have the setup for your work. If you look over here in the worksheet, you see that these adjusting entries along with the trial balance create your financial statements. Only accounts that are income statement get transferred to these columns. Only accounts that are balance sheet get transferred over here. So when you go over here, it's a big help, and I've also already got it set up for you. In the templates, I also want you to remember that you're allowed to change the templates if you want to. They're not they're not untouchable. You're definitely allowed to change templates if you think that some lines should be added, you need more space for a calculation, or you need more space for a description. You just don't feel like you're looking at the setup the same way as I am. You can't read my mind, for example, and you want to change it up a little bit. I don't have a problem with that at all. Part 5 is the adjusting entries along with the closing, and then part 4 is what is that one? Oh, that's the correcting entries. So we're correcting errors to fix this. Part 9, I have your balances for your beginning and your ending, and so you just kind of come up with the middle part of this shareholders equity. And then 10 is just showing how you do a GAAP balance sheet and how it's different from an IFRS balance sheet. So I wanted to get this video under 10 minutes, so I wanted to go kind of quickly there. But I think you should have everything you need. Good luck with your first assignment. It's worth 30 points, and I'll have videos throughout the rest of the course from time to time as needed.